Art, real art, sticks with you. It gets in your head and makes you think. It makes you feel something. It moves and inspires you. And you know it when you see it. Storytelling, filmmaking, is an art. And any franchise with any strong fan base is only successful because it started as real art. The sad thing is, once it becomes successful, it rarely stays that way long. I recently made a video about Amazon's failed attempt to capitalize on the biggest IP not yet turned into an endless money-making franchise in their series The Rings of Power. But in making that video, I mentioned Star Wars and what it's become in the hands of Disney for comparison. And that made me think of an image I saw posted on Facebook not too long ago. As you can imagine, the comments were largely composed of people who seemingly love everything Star Wars, simply because it has Star Wars in the name, complaining about being the victims of persecution by supposed fellow fans who really just hate Star Wars and everyone who actually likes it. How can these people claim to be fans if all they do is hate the thing they claim to be fans of? Can't they just be happy we're getting more Star Wars content than ever before? Why do they have to ruin it for everyone? I've been shocked to hear several people lately express the sentiment people just like to whine and complain about everything now because it's trendy, because that's the popular thing to do. So is that true? Does everyone just love to hate because that's what's all the rage? I will acknowledge, first of all, that negativity is popular and spreads easily. That influencers do have great power to fan flames of anger about any given subject, and people do create online echo chambers that stoke that fire into full-on hatred. And this very real phenomenon can have very real and very bad consequences, especially when it's about real-world issues. That's a topic for another video, but I do want to recognize that. And like I said in my Rings of Power video, the division, contention, and hatred that stems from that cycle is unacceptable. No one ought to feel attacked or persecuted for their taste or opinion, especially about something such as their choice in entertainment. But the question I want to ask here is, are these feelings of anger by fans really unwarranted? Why do these franchises such as Star Wars, Marvel, or Amazon's corruption of The Lord of the Rings get so much hate from so-called fans? Now, plenty of influencers have already answered this question, probably far more articulately than me. But hey, I'm just thinking out loud here, so if you like my brain vomit, you know where the like and subscribe buttons are. So without further ado, let's see why so many fans now are pissed. Let's imagine a little scenario. Imagine that you found an incredible little restaurant that just opened up right in your hometown. I don't know what kind of food you like, so indulge me here. Maybe it's a little ma and pa diner, or a roadside burger shack with great milkshakes. Maybe it's some traditional foreign cuisine started and run by actual immigrants. Whatever you imagine it is, it's some of the best of its kind of food you've ever had, and the owners know how to cook. They are clearly passionate about their craft and proud of what they do, taking no shortcuts and consistently delivering only the best food they can offer. Well, of course, they are quite successful. Business begins to boom, and soon they need to move to a new location with more room. They hire more staff to keep up. They even open a second location in addition to the first. They're doing well, and the quality is top-notch because the owners know their stuff and care about making their customers happy above all else. But once they've opened a few locations, once they've made quite a name for themselves in the area, a big company, one that already owns several restaurant chains you know, makes them an offer they can't refuse. At first you're excited. Soon your favorite restaurant will be dotting the map. Anywhere you go, it will be there. And hey, it'll probably be cheaper. And that certainly is the case. But after a while, you start to notice something. Say this restaurant started as a burger place. Then imagine you go to McDonald's one day. Or maybe Panda Express if it was originally traditional Asian cuisine. It happens to be convenient that day. And you realize something disturbing that you've never noticed before. You can't tell the difference. Or worse, you find the fast food is actually better. Has this always been the case? Surely not. Surely your favorite restaurant wasn't always just another cheap fast food joint. You knew and you loved the people who worked there, and they poured their all into their craft. You always chose to eat there over McDonald's, regardless of the price, because you could always count on getting the best meal for your money. So what happened? When did they start losing their quality? Was it when they started hiring new people? Was it when they got bought out? Was it when they spread across the state? How did you never notice until it got this bad? This all seems like a pretty believable scenario, right? This could happen to you, don't you think? Whether you're a connoisseur of food or not, you could recognize this kind of a dip in quality in a restaurant chain and attribute it to business people getting greedy and sacrificing quality for quantity, trading artistic passion for money. But now imagine with me that you started to complain, that you lamented to friends that the restaurant you love isn't what it used to be. Maybe you go online or write to the owners and demand they restore their quality. You're angry, you're sad, you miss the food that you loved growing up and wish your kids could grow up with it like you did. You'd think everyone else in town who grew up with that restaurant would recognize it too and would also be upset, but instead, many of them get mad at you. They say, "How dare you? You just love to hate on everything. You never really liked them in the first place. Stop ruining it for everyone else. If you don't like it, just eat somewhere else." Worst of all, they say, "You just don't like that they're hiring people of other ethnicities now, do you? You don't like that the new manager is a woman. You're a racist, sexist bigot, aren't you?" That is what it feels like to be a fan of a major franchise nowadays. We loved something that was truly special, that was unique and magical. Often we grew up with it, and it's always been a huge part of our lives. In some cases, more than just fun or entertainment. It's far deeper than that. It means something to us in a way food never really can. And now we see these massive corporations take them over, promise through their teeth to honor what came before and please the fans, and then churn out cheap imitations of the original that completely miss the magic that made you fall in love. Because they're not made by artists with stories to tell, but by businessmen with wallets to fill. And we, the fans, are ripe and ready to be harvested. So why are audiences and fandoms now angry? Because we're being exploited for our love of art. Our passion, our nostalgia, our devotion to whatever intellectual property we grew up on or fell in love with is used against us as a means to manipulate us and take our money. And you know what? That's kind of just what the entertainment industry is all about, playing on people's emotions to steal their paychecks. So if they at least satisfied, if they actually delivered what we wanted, if they actually replicated the magic we fell in love with to begin with, we'd be happy. But we're not, because we're also being insulted. These studios think we're too stupid to see the difference between real art and their soulless imitation. We came for a fine steak and they gave us a McDonald's hamburger and make it out like it's our fault for not being happy about it. According to them, we should just be happy we're getting fed and eat anything they shove down our throat without complaint. If we don't fall for it and just gobble up whatever they throw at us as long as it has the name Star Wars or Lord of the Rings in the title, then we're hateful bigots who are never happy with anything and too stuck in the past to accept change. Well, we don't want change, because we want the thing we already love, which you promised us more of. That's the thing. That's the heart of it. We fell in love with art. And these big corporations took the art we love, and instead of making more art, because they can't, businessmen just looking to exploit people for profit are incapable of producing true art, they watered it down, boiled away everything but the names, the iconic moments, enough so they can go, "See, that's the thing you like." And they churn out as much of the soulless content as they possibly can. It's not art, it's content. And if we're not satisfied with mere content, then it's our fault. The studios call us bigots and haters and turn our fellow fans against us. They have gradually lowered our expectations of quality to the point that they can get away with feeding us human feces all the while peddling their mantra, "Don't think, just consume product and get excited for next product." Sometimes I feel like I'm living in the Matrix, with studios harvesting our life force while plugging us into shallow, soulless virtual worlds of endless content to keep us distracted. And the moment we start to think for ourselves, question our reality, and resist the programming, we're targeted by the system, which all of our fellow fans are a part of. We fans are treated by studios as a mindless, all-consuming source of profit to be harvested, like cattle that live only to be milked to death. And it seems many are fine with that. Many are happy to stay in the Matrix because either they don't stop to compare what they're given to what they could have, or they simply don't care that they're getting an inferior product, and really are just happy with the most trivial, superficial, ornamental aspects of everything that they love. And perhaps you're thinking, what's wrong with that? So what if they're easy to please? That just means they're happier because they're not being negative about everything, so stop ruining it for them. And, well, yes, everyone has a right to enjoy what they like and consume what they want. Like I said, no one should be hated or bullied for it, but we won't stop calling out these studios for what they're doing and tearing apart their cheap, hollow imitations of greater works that came before to expose them for what they are. Face it, these soulless studio projects only get anyone to watch them by bearing the name of something better that people actually liked. And if that's all it requires to keep you happy, then good for you. But I'm going to make sure that everyone sees the difference between what we have and what we deserve, because I won't lower the bar for these studios. I won't shut up and settle for something less than what I want. I won't eat whatever Disney or Amazon shove down my throat. I demand better. And we all should, because we don't have to settle for subpar soulless content. And if we don't, if we make it clear we won't accept the slop they throw at us, and we expect them to treat us and the work they handle with respect, then they will be forced to respond with actual, genuine effort to please. And maybe, just maybe, we'll start to see a change. But that's just my 2 cents. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you next time. Until then, never stay silent.